In its simplest terms, JavaScript can be considered an interpreted language. This means that the code you write is line by line converted into machine code that the CPU can execute. This parsing and execution is performed by the JavaScript engine, for example, Google's V8 engine. However, this doesn't actually give us a way to interact with any environment. For example, when we run C code, we often print our output to standard out and read from standard in. So what's the equivalent for JS? Well, this is what a runtime environment refers to. The runtime environment is the set of components that allow the JavaScript code to meaningfully interact with the context in which it's being executed. The most intuitive runtime environment, for example, is a browser. In this context, the browser would expose things like the HTML DOM API, which would let the JavaScript code executing in a browser modify the DOM. But what if we're running a server in a terminal? A DOM API would make no sense. Instead, the JavaScript code might want to access the file system or standard out and standard in. This would be the function of a backend runtime environment like Node.js, which allows us to run JavaScript code in a terminal. In all of these instances, the runtime environment would include the JavaScript engine because it's needed to actually interpret and execute the code. But the runtime environment gives the coder access to environment APIs, which are relevant for the specific context they are coding within.